Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay, good morning, good Erev Shabbos. We have spoken in the past about Chalav Yisrael, and there are differences between Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz in terms of Chalav Yisrael. We'll get to that in a moment. But as far as we're concerned, in America, Chalav Yisrael is available. The need for Chalav Yisrael was kind of discounted by Rav Moshe Feinstein when he gave a heter, because in America you can't sell milk that isn't cow's milk. So therefore, there's not a question of our milk being adulterated with pig's milk or camel's milk or other things of that sort. So there is a heter, but Rav Moshe says even though halachically it's permissible to drink quote unquote treif milk, as Rav Kanatopsky Zal used to say, but a Baal Nefesh should be machmir. All right, so you have those who are machmir. It also helps maintain the jobs for those people in that particular business. In Eretz Yisrael, it's a little bit different because you have a large percentage-wise religious community that can support the Chalav Yisrael business. But another factor that we're going to talk about this morning is the issue of powdered milk. Does powdered milk fall into the same category as regular milk? In other words, are you allowed to drink powdered milk made from non-Chalav Yisrael milk? Does the fact that it's powdered in some way change it? And this also could refer to cheese and whey and other products that are derived from non-Chalav Yisrael milk as well. The policy of the Israeli chief rabbinate is that it does not rely on Rav Moshe's heter. And they are machmir in terms that Eretz Yisrael, Eretz Zavas, Chalav Udvash, so to speak, and they are machmir on Chalav Yisrael milk, and there's no pressing need to rely on government supervised milk or milk produced by non-Jews. So first of all, it supports the dairy industry of Eretz Yisrael, and according to some poskim, that's a fulfillment of the mitzvah of Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. The availability of more jobs helps more people live there, brings in more tax revenue to the Israeli government to facilitate its job to bring more Jews to live in Eretz Yisrael. So clearly, it's an economic factor as well as a halakhic issue. And the Torah, of course, encourages us to to buy products produced by Jews whenever possible. There's another interesting factor that most people don't think about. When you talk about Chalav Yisrael, according to the Chassam Sofer, interestingly enough, the din of Chalav Yisrael is the same din as Stam Yenam. We don't drink non-kosher wine because, again, there's two different types of non-kosher wine. There's Yayin Nesech, there's wine that was used in idolatrous libations, which we're not concerned with that much today, although elements in the Catholic Church, they
Saying hello to Charlie. He's telling me there's a bus in there.
What's that? The church uses wine as part of their service, but most people today, the concern is called Stam Yenam. Stam Yenam is just regular wine that was produced by non-Jews, and the purpose of Stam Yenam, the Isur, is primarily to separate us from assimilating in social circumstances where you drink wine, not to marry non-Jewish girls, etc., etc. So the same prohibition might apply to milk as well, that to socially distance us from non-Jews by drinking kosher milk, which is an interesting concept that the Chassam Sofer introduces. So there are overt and covert reasons, so to speak, for this particular halacha. It protects us from assimilation. according to that view, which is another reason why is given for Chol Yisrael. Another reason, which is more probably relevant to most people, is that a stricter approach is probably warranted because of the complexity of contemporary food production. Even in government approved milk, even in the United States, there are always additives, vitamins, the things that are added in that might be problematic. I'm not saying that it is, but according to some rabbis, some of the things that are added to milk could be problematic, and that's why you have even regular milk comes with a hechsher. You also have another interesting halacha. There is a concept that if you travel from one place to another, you have to follow the chumros of the place where you left and the place where you arrived. So that would mean that Israelis coming to America, where Chalav Yisrael is the normative milk that's available, they should keep on drinking Chalav Yisrael when they come to America, which is an interesting side discussion. So, but it doesn't seem that most Israeli travelers to America are makpid about that. Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank, the chief rabbi of Yerushalayim at one time in the 40s and 50s, he said that it is permissible to drink powdered milk because at that time, 1944, when he issued this psak, there were shortages all around. And he compares, and this is an interesting halachic distinction, he compares powdered milk to what we call chemat akum. Chemat akum is non-Jewish or unsupervised butter. We buy butter that has a hechsher. Butter is interesting because non-kosher animal milk cannot become butter. It cannot become cheese. You can have goat's milk, but non-kosher animals, you don't see non-kosher butter from non-kosher animals or non-kosher cheese from non-kosher animals, because the Gemara made that observation, and it's still true today, that milk cannot become curdled or become hard. So powdered milk, according to Rav Frank, is permissible based on the heter of chemat akum. So since we are lenient about non-Jewish produced butter, so we can also be lenient about powdered milk that may not be made from Chalav Yisrael. The level of kashrus necessary for butter is lower than the level necessary for milk to monitor that all the ingredients are kosher. But we are generally lenient about this, and we eat regular butter. Chazal never banned non-Jewish butter because non-Jewish milk, as I said, cannot become butter. Therefore, powdered milk, once the form of milk has changed, then the isur of non-Jewish milk no longer applies. Now, Chazon Ish vehemently disagreed with Rav Frank, and he said powdered milk is not at all analogous to chemat akum, but he understands that there are issues, but he holds that powdered milk and regular milk are the same, and he would require kosher powdered milk. There are others that, again, most people are lenient when it comes to powdered milk. The reason that this is important, and by the way, this discussion relates to other types of things that have been changed from their, or reconstituted, shall we say. For example, let's take Pringles. Pringles are not made from potatoes. They're made from it's not sliced potato chips. It's mashed potatoes that have been put together with some kind of tomato chips, which is why you make a shahakol on Pringles as opposed to adoma that you make on normal potato chips. So there are a lot of interesting questions that come up of things that were reconstituted. There's a big shiloh. What about reconstituted grape juice? Does that require Bora Priyagofen? It's a separate halachic discussion. But the essential issue is whether we regard the dried food that was reconstituted as a new entity or the same entity that it was previously. And the rabbinate in Israel relies upon the leniency simply because at different points in history, in the 40s and 50s, there was a shortage of Chalav Yisrael powdered milk. Regular milk, yes, but powdered milk was a shortage of. And powdered milk is very important because it's used in so many products today that you're unaware of. You have it used in chocolate. You have it used in ice creams. And this is why a lot of people are very careful about only eating Chalav Yisrael ice cream, for example, or Chalav Yisrael pizza. I gave pizza out to some students yesterday, and before we had a pizza party, and the question was, is it Chalav Yisrael? And of course it was, but people are very, very makpid about that. Non-Chalav Yisrael milk in America is used in the production of cheese, even though there are some more religious kashrus organizations that would only allow Chalav Yisrael in their cheeses. So the Chalav Akum issue might be more severe than powdered milk, but powdered milk is used in so many other commercial products that and you don't know unless you read the ingredients very, very carefully. Powdered milk, whey, all these things. So we generally in America follow the heter that we allow powdered milk, but those who are makpid are careful that they read the ingredients for non-Chalav Yisrael ingredients in many things that we eat. We're unaware. You think ice cream is made from milk all the time. It is, but it's powdered milk very often. And the same thing is true with other dairy products. Chocolates, milk chocolates, or some of the major milk chocolates are made from powdered milk, not real milk. It may not state that on the ingredients. It may say milk products, or just say milk, but it doesn't distinguish between whole milk or powdered milk. And again, if you're makpid about Chalav Yisrael, then you have to be careful about it. But I would say in America today, as in a large segment of the Israeli population that rely on the heter of Tzvi Pesach Frank, powdered milk would be permissible for those who are makpid about Chalav Yisrael. Those who are super makpid would insist on Chalav Yisrael powdered milk as well. But the fact that it's an issue, I find fascinating because it goes back to the early years in pre-statehood Israel, where there was a shortage of milk and they had to import powdered milk from the United States, and it wasn't always Chalav Yisrael. And again, the Chazon Ish was, as his derech, was always more machmir, but Rav Tzvi Pesach Frank was a reliable posek, and in Eretz Yisrael they relied on him, and in America as well. Most poskim today would rely on that heter. So if you like to eat chocolate or ice cream that have milk ingredients in it, you don't have to worry whether it's powdered milk unless you're makpid or super makpid on Chalav Yisrael. Again, Rav Moshe's heter for non-Chalav Yisrael allows us to eat non-Chalav Yisrael products, but again, he says about nefesh yachmir. That's the psak that people follow today. Okay. Any questions on this? It's a fascinating topic. The fact that the Gemara recognized already in its day that non-kosher milk cannot be made into cheese is interesting in itself in terms of non-kosher or non-Jewish, non-Jewish butter or non-Jewish cheeses. Well, cheeses has other issues because of the rennet, but the milk itself could also be a problem. Okay. Any comments, questions? Okay. It's not a big Chalav Yisrael crowd, I can tell. Okay. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Stay warm.
Thank you.
Try not to get
Thank you.